During which season of Survivor did we first divide the castaways into 4 separate tribes?
Should I be embarrassed to admit I got this wrong the first time I watched this season? In my defense, I hadn't seen Panama yet. Last week, Daniel of Survivor Canberra, Bethany of Survivor Canberra, Lisa who likes Survivor, and myself, the 17th most popular Survivor YouTuber in the Southern Hemisphere, put together a Survivor-themed trivia night to raise funds for the upcoming season of Survivor Canberra. It was a lot of work to put together, but the result was a really fun 2 hours for all involved, including me getting repeatedly roasted by Lisa and the chat. My name is not Harry, I swear to God. But today we're here to talk about the toughest of the tough. Some of the questions in this quiz were hard, and some of the ones I came up with were deemed too hard for a casual trivia night. So today I'll be going through the hardest questions in the Survivor Trivia Challenge, and I'll leave a link to the full quiz in the description in case you want to give it a shot yourself. Let's get into it. This quiz was split into 5 rounds, and we'll start with the first one, which was Australian Survivor. Makes sense considering Canberra is allegedly in Australia. Feel free to skip to here if you don't want to be spoiled for anything Australian Survivor related. I'm not responsible if you haven't skipped to it by now. I'm going to start talking now. There were some questions that were basically freebies, as any quiz should have. Like, which former Olympian is an Australian Survivor winner? Now if you said Shane Gold, correct. If you said Liz Parnov, turns out you'd also be correct, and I somehow completely missed that. But yeah, she was in the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, that definitely counts, I should have said medalist. We also threw in this real curveball. What is Khan Arabic for? I'll give you some time to rack your brain for this one, I don't think they ever said it explicitly on the show.
Khan is Arabic for king.
Yes, it turns out Khan is in fact Arabic for king. Except for the fact that it isn't. But shh, don't worry about it. Alright, time for the hard stuff, which I define as fewer than half of the 22 contestants getting the right answer. Who holds the record for the most elimination votes in a single season of Australian Survivor? We did give this as a multi-choice because it turns out not everyone knows this. The answer though is Raymond from Titans vs Rebels with 25. You may think it's Miles or Kara, but some of those votes came from weird non-elimination tribal councils which do not count. The rest of the questions were answered pretty well overall, but there were 3 questions that I came up with which were vetoed by the team. As an aside, full respect to the team for vetoing these questions, I am a freak of nature who cannot be trusted to run Survivor-themed events. The first one was, who was the first non-binary Australian Survivor contestant? That's right, it is of course Phil Ferguson from Australian Survivor Brains vs Brawn. They were voted out for not being part of the group that George chose to save at the very first tribal council in a completely fair and easily predictable twist, which George went on to use very effectively to increase his social standing within the tribe.
I'm not going to let you just get picked off. You haven't had a chance.
Another question was, name this TV show starring JLP. Apparently it's quite famous in Australia, it's called The Slap, and if you're not Australian you may be familiar with The Slap 2, which is a pretty popular meme. Speaking of JLP, I also wanted to ask what JLP stood for, aside from the betterment of mankind and a hope for a kinder tomorrow. But we thought that might come across as making fun of his name, and he's got a cool name so we didn't want to do that. Next up was choose the season from the image. We showed a single frame and they had to pick what season it came from. The hardest question in this round and possibly the entire quiz? This one. Name the season. I'll give you a minute. Did you guess Survivor 47? No. Why ever not? Did the 4 boats make you think it was Survivor Cook Islands instead? Yeah, that's my bad. Can I tell you the exact scene this is from? No, I pulled a random shot from a random episode of 47 and now I can't find it again. I am furious with myself for not writing the timecode down. I'm also extremely confused how they let me include this question, but I thought it was fun. Some other options I considered here include this iconic shot from Survivor 48, this legendary picture from Survivor 42, this breathtaking imagery from Survivor 45, and this astonishing still from Edge of Extinction. Why do people let me come up with quiz ideas? I'm an absolute menace to society. We then moved on to the US Survivor round, and this was the round most people did the best in. Despite this being a quiz designed for Australians and written by New Zealanders, it seems US Survivor is still the most popular format. That's probably indicative of something, but I'm not smart enough to figure it out. So let's jump straight to the questions I was banned from asking. We threw in a question about subtitles and eventually settled on which season was subtitled Islands of Fire, the answer being Survivor Vanuatu. I wanted to ask, which season was subtitled Mamanuca Islands? You know, the famous season, where the Mamanuca Islands played a pivotal role in the theming. Everyone remembers the Mamanuca Islands season. It was Game Changers. I don't know why they subtitled that season. We also asked a question about which two castaways have played a perfect game, but I really wanted to put a spin on it. Some rejected ideas include which castaway ruined Earl Cole's perfect game, casting the only negative vote against him the entire season. If you're thinking Rita, you'd be right. Why did she do that to him? I also considered who played the least perfect game, as in received the most elimination votes and lost the most jury votes but still won. Is it the guy who was voted out? I bet it was the guy who was voted out. Oh, just kidding, it was Ben from Heroes vs. Healers vs. Hustlers. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I guess if you spend the majority of your time sitting on an island without the chance to accumulate votes against you, you don't get that many votes cast against you. We also wanted to ask who wore the sitting duck shirt in Survivor Borneo, and the only reason we didn't is because it's actually impossible to find a still of that shirt. This is the best clip we see of it, and even then, it never shows the entire shirt. It's Colleen, by the way. Survivor in pop culture was an absolute bloodbath of a round. This round was rough, because not only did you have to be a terminally online Survivor fan who knows fun facts about every season, you also had to watch other shows. I really leaned on the rest of the team this round because I was pretty down and out here. The first hard question is, what character are they talking about here?
Does the name mean anything to you?
I'm a warm-blooded, mostly straight woman who was alive in 2003. Of course, the name means something to me.
If you're guessing Colby Donaldson, you'd be wrong, it's Boston Rob. Was he actually that popular in 2003? I don't know, I was too busy being 4 at the time. We also asked, which TV show is this audio from?
Do you want to form an alliance with me?
Absolutely, I do.
Good, excellent.
Granted, we had some technical difficulties that meant the clip was hard to hear, but it's from The Office, which I have never seen. We also asked which music video Jenna Lewis and Lindsay Richter appeared in as seen here. This is Eminem's Without Me, an absolute bop, but it's also extremely all over the place and they're in it for approximately 4 seconds, so I really cannot blame anyone for not getting that correct. But man, this round is where a lot of cuts happened because I know pop culture as it relates to Survivor, not Survivor as it relates to pop culture. So, do you know what Jeff hosted before he was on Survivor? That's right, he was the host of Rock and Roll Jeopardy! I considered some questions like what did Jeff Probst sponsor and How I Met Your Mother?
Okay, survivors, today's reward challenge is brought to you by Dr. Barney Stinson's free breast reduction consultations.
And who did Furio threaten in The Sopranos?
This is a Survivor show. Somebody should find the winner, stick a pistol in the face, and say, you're not gonna survive this unless you give me 25% of that fucking $1 million.
That's not bad.
But both of those were deemed a bit unreasonable to guess. I also really wanted to link to the bacon scene of 2.5 Men by asking how many nuggets Wes ate at the nugget eating contest to become the champion.
I ate 58 chicken nuggets in 5 minutes on the eating contest once.
What a legend. He also thought Jeff was cooking pancakes on the show, come on now.
What about the episode of 2.5 Men when you were naked cooking pancakes or something? Or
Cooking bacon?
bacon.
Right. That was fun.
That's awesome, dude. I love that show.
That's clearly bacon right there. And the last round was called Survivor Canberra versus the World. The World part because we included a few international season questions on it. I won't go over the Survivor Canberra ones, but one of my favourite questions was name a woman who played Survivor South Africa. Honestly, I reckon I could do the Name 100 Women challenge only doing Survivor Castaways. Granted, if you told me I couldn't use Survivor Castaways, I'm not entirely convinced I would complete it. We also asked which Survivor version had the host play an idol on a castaway. This is Russian Survivor, and I've yet to find a clip of it, but apparently that show's crazy. Some questions we wanted to ask but didn't include: which international version of Survivor almost always features celebrities? That's the Finnish version of Survivor, although I'm not entirely sure how they define celebrity. How popular of a radio host is Tommy? What about Survivor Israel and what Survivor Castaway was won as a reward? That being Rupert. Or which season featured a foot massage at the Survivor auction, being the first season of Survivor Quebec, but I thought it might be a bit cruel to make anyone sit through that. And which Survivor Castaway received the most votes in a single season? That being Poison Tanya from Koh Lanta? 36 votes, that's too many. The final question we played around with was Lisa's idea. During Survivor New Zealand's airing, she got compared to Turbo from Survivor Turkey a lot, and we're all just wondering why on earth that happened, but we couldn't find anything about Turbo to actually ask this question. Please help us solve this mystery. Overall, this quiz was an amazing time, and I'll put the link in the description if you want to check it out and give it a go yourself. Please let me know what score you get. This is a bit of a weird video because I'm in the process of moving to Australia, so it might be a bit weird for the next few weeks. But what did you think? What's your favourite random bit of Survivor trivia? Let me know. Until next time, I've been Henry Hickman Survivor, and I'll see you at the Trivia Challenge.